I was so convinced that when he walked in the tying run that there was no chance that they were. And I was also coming off feeling like crap about the Yankees bet.
Sure.
And then once I saw that, I was like, this is just perfect. And I said, I don't want to see any more pain. I don't want to see them try to get out of this. So, yeah, it was brutal. The fact that up 3-1, DeGrom's great, all of that, and then they go to the bullpen and then total meltdown again. I didn't think they had any sort of guts to come back and win that game, and they did.
But electric stuff in the ninth inning from Edwin Diaz.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel for Jacob DeGrom. There's nothing else to say. I mean, the guy pitches his ass off, and he just has very little to show for it other than an ERA sub-2 again, other than the fact that he could win the Cy Young again with not many wins. But he's got, at some point, he's got to be in that clubhouse talking to himself saying, like, what do I have to do? I got to go 9 innings. You know, I got to stay in the game, and I got to finish the stupid thing, especially when they have a lead. And I know that's not possible in a lot of cases, but, man, you just feel for them. And you know what? Good resiliency from the Mets, because this was a series they needed to win. They've done the job so far. They've taken the first few here. You know, go get another now. And then you go into a Yankees series, and who knows what happens this afternoon. All bets are off with the Yankees and the Rays, because for whatever reason, the Rays seem to have their number. And last night, you know, gee, I'm watching it. I'm with you. You know, Garrett Cole's out there. He gives up, yes, a couple of hard-hit home runs. But other than that, I mean, he's getting swings and misses all over the place. I mean, really, you saw the fierceness come out of him in that seventh inning when he didn't want to come out of the game. Felt great. You could even see him mouthing, what do you say, oh, my God, something like that.
Yeah, well, you know what it was is he also had the -1.5, and he knew if he came out that things were going to unravel. I mean, everybody was reading his lips like, oh, my God, and a couple of curses. I saw that 1.5. I read his lips. He was going, 1.5. Leave me in. And but no, he stormed off, and everybody loved it because he had some fire underneath him and all of that. But you know what? Two things really annoyed me in that game, watching it from a gambling perspective. One, that Mike Zunino home run to center field. I mean, Mike Zunino's not supposed to do that against Garrett Cole in that situation.
And I also didn't think off the bat it was a home run. A lot of times, like when Gary Sanchez gets into one, you know where it's going. And by the way, how about his at bat in the fifth inning, whatever inning it was?
Sixth, and that was the next one. That was the next thing that pissed me off, and you went right to it. Go ahead.
No, my point is you tend to know. I feel like you have an idea when a ball is hit that it's got a chance to travel far. The Choi one for sure I thought was gone off the bat.
Yeah.
The Zunino one I thought was a pop-up. I just thought it was a fly ball. And then you see, Mike Zunino, exactly.
And then so they get it back to 2-2. They got a runner on. Gary Sanchez is up. And, I think Torres was up first, and then Gary Sanchez had an opportunity. I thought either one of those guys, I was like, home run, 4-2. With a runner on. I thought was going to happen. And, of course, it didn't happen. So
I thought that with Hicks in the seventh. Now, I fell asleep
Hicks
after the sixth inning.
Right?
Hicks in the seventh. I watched the last 3 innings this morning. And you're watching it saying, this was the spot right here.
Right.
Hicks, knock it out, 4-2, couple of outs, let's get out of here. No, not last night.
And then also, caught looking, right? He was caught looking on that Hicks, I'm pretty sure. And then the pitcher, whoever it was, so demonstrative after that strikeout.
It was.
And that was one of those things you took personally. You took that personally when you have money on the Yankees. He did like one of these like like he comes off the mound. I just wanted to just run to the stadium and just beat the you know what out of him.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I was so annoyed.
I forget what was his name. I didn't know who he was. I got to get it. But yeah, he was very demonstrative and he was very vocal. That's the one thing that I do like about these silent ballparks. Like, you hear a lot. And I know we played, the Mattingly getting ejected the other day and I guess it was Gardenhire with the umpire, Detroit. You're starting to hear things more and more as the season's going on. It seemed like the first couple of weeks, everybody was nice, just happy that we're playing. Now we're getting to the teeth of pretty much almost halfway through now. And you start to see where you are in the standings, and guys are starting to lose their mind a little bit, and you're really starting to not only see but hear the emotions of the game. I kind of like it. It's a different way to watch a game. It's not bad.
Was it Pete Fairbanks?
Fairbanks. That's right. Yeah. I'd never heard of him until last night.
Pete Fairbanks.
Yes.
Come on.
Fairbanks and Sessuto. Like, those are guys. Okay.
Yeah. This is why, betting baseball, there's never anything that is a lock, ever. There just isn't.
Last night should have been.
And then that guy who called up and he said it was your fault. It was not your fault. I mean, it was all of us being so overconfident. And that guy, if he did bet against us, I do hope that he made money because that's a smart play. I mean, it all started with Al saying he'd bet $5,000 on the Yankees, and then he even upped it from 50 to 100 at the end of the show. That got me excited. The bet was out there. That was just an embarrassing one for us because we never do stuff like that.
No, we don't.
Like, think about that. This is not like it's one of those things, we lost last night. Oh, we won tonight. We lost last night. It's not like we're playing every day. Like, we made a spectacle out of this about the overconfidence. The bet slip is tweeted. I'm retweeting it. The family is out there. People know what the wager is, and it was just as bad. You'd rather be out of it from the get-go. You'd rather the Rays score 7 runs.
I agree. This was a slow death
than the way that this happened. And then when they got it to 2-2, I'm thinking we're in business.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And then 2-2, glass no out. I'm thinking we're in business. That this Yankee offense will get to that Rays bullpen, which has been better than the Yankee bullpen, by the way, all year long in the games that they play, which is not something that I expected to say this year. But I was like, you get into the Rays bullpen, they'll be fine. All it takes is another home run from whoever, because that's all they do. And no, it didn't happen. And then also, when they cut that run off at home.
Yes, on the infield in.
Right, in the top of the 8th. I was also encouraged there, too. But then, of course, single up the middle after that scores a run. And then.
But even how about that inning with Britton dropping the ball at first, wild pitch, and then he almost, basically hits, what's his name, Lau in the head with the curveball on 3-2. I mean, and then he's hurt. And now he's got a hamstring injury. I mean, what an inning for him.
That is the worst. Luke Voit makes that great play to be able to. The ball's going down the line, saves a double. It's not like Luke Voit is Will Clark over there. Makes that play and then cannot complete it to Britton, which starts the whole situation.
They did, and they had a good replay because you think was the throw wide? Did he was it a bad toss? Was it in line with the runner? There was one replay that showed it was the perfect toss. Led him right to the bag, just took his eye off it and just dropped it. So it's for him. It's a shame, but not good for us.
The Yankees good. The Yankees have to be just so annoyed.
We said this yesterday.
So annoyed by this. But even more so now that they trot Cole out there and they still can't beat the Rays. I mean, now that the Rays are a half game behind the Yankees.
And they're 5-1 against them.
Yeah.
Think about that.
They're an annoying team. They are. They're just an annoying team because they're really good. They don't make a lot of mistakes. There's nothing about them that's really exciting. They're just there. And
they just win.
Annoying.
They just win.
Yeah, we got to stop. I decided, because I do this too many times, got to stop calling them pesky. They're not pesky anymore. They're just freaking good.
Yes.
Like they're a good baseball team.
I think they're pesky because you don't see them winning World Series, but they're there every year, and they're right around the playoffs every year, and they're just a damn good baseball team.
Yeah, I'd like to know, because this would be the year that the Rays would win the World Series. You know what I'm saying? Like, this would be the year because this is a team that would putter out in a 162-game season because they're talented but maybe not as deep because of the financial restrictions that they have.
I mean, didn't they win 94 games last year?
Yeah, they did. You're right. But, I mean, also you get into the postseason, they never really seem to do anything. Right?
That is true.
So that's what I'm talking about. So I'd love to see the odds on them, actually, to win the World Series. It's funny. Like last night, I bet the Yankees to beat the Rays. The Rays beat the Yankees and Garrett Cole. Now I have them win the World Series. Yeah, that's all it takes.
I'm checking this out now. Odds Tampa Rays to win World Series. Now, they obviously, I think, would have been a lot higher before the season. Now they're up to, 16-9, something like that?
Yeah, World Series 2020. So the Rays, to win I have it. To win the World
Series.
Plus
1,800?
I've got 1,500 now, so this is probably updated. FanDuel Sportsbook's got plus 1,500 right now.
All right. How much you putting? Al, you want to put that $5,000 on Tampa to win the World Series now?
No, I'm out for these baseball. Gio's right. Baseball, you just can't trust it on a day-to-day basis.
You can't, no matter what.
Yeah, because you can trust the other sports.
And by the way,
it's all difficult.
It's a little bit different with baseball, though, because of the up and down nature of it. Because it's like it's the classic "that's baseball Susan" stuff. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you think
the Magic beating the Bucks the other day. That makes sense.
But that doesn't normally happen.
But it did. But and Garrett Cole losing to the Rays. I mean, that shouldn't happen.
The Rays are really good, though. The Rays are really good. The NBA, that first round of the NBA postseason, very rarely do you get an upset in a series. I mean, that's why they were like, what, the minus 177 to sweep the series?
And yet they go out and win the first game from Milwaukee. They had no business winning that game.
I'll tell you right now, I stand by this. You ask any sports gambler out of the pro team sports, what's the most volatile? And they'll tell you Major League Baseball. Every single one of them.
But if I've got a team like the Dodgers, and I bet the money line on the Dodgers every night, I'm going to win. The Dodgers in a regular season are going to win 105 games, and they're going to lose 57.
Yeah, but the VIG is what it is, that you're never going to do any damage unless you're putting major money on it. That's why, last night, the reason why we didn't bet the Yankees just to outright win is because they were like minus 177. It wasn't worth it for us. Well, that's where the VIG comes in, and it screws everything up.
You bet more.
Yeah, right. And then what happens? Then you bet more, and then you have these situations where they're heavy favorites, and then they lose those games. It's just baseball's tough, man. It's a tough sport to handicap because you really don't know. You don't feel confident. If I had to choose between confidence level, football, basketball, baseball's a distant third from a day-to-day handicapping standpoint. Distant third. Because they play every freaking day.
You can tell me football's easy to bet these days?
It's not easy, but it's definitely, you have a week to think about it. There's a lot of teams that are transitionally, there's bad teams in the NFL now. I'll tell you this much. I picked a team to win every single week correctly last year in that knockout pool and then won it at the end.
Yes, you did. Well,
I'm not doing that with baseball.
There were also a lot of people that were knocked out in the first week. I just think the NFL is so unpredictable these days. Like, I think all these sports, I know what you're saying. I would actually prefer to bet baseball than I would, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Wow.
I would, because I do feel like a lot of times the pitching matchups do line up. Now, the bullpens suck, as we see. And I know I'm never going to bet the Mets with Jacob deGrom on the mound. Because we've seen, there's a track record. He pitches well. He doesn't get the win. They either lose or they win late. That's pretty much the story of Jacob deGrom. I'm not betting the Mets when Jacob deGrom pitches, which sounds stupid, but we've seen it over and over.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to tell me that the team that you watch every single day, that you feel like you have a beat on them. But the other problem is, too, like a game like the Mets yesterday, I would have been wrong about that, too. Even if I had an opportunity to bet it at 3-3, I would have been wrong.
Right.
And there are live lines. You could do that.
Yes.
So, I would have been wrong about that, too. I would have they're dead, totally done. So, even sometimes it works against you when you have knowledge of your team as well, because your emotions are into it, and you either have to, it's the difference between a Met fan and a Yankee fan is Lepresti's tweet back to me last night when I said we're officially in trouble after the Zunino home run because they're down 2-0. I'm like, the Glass now look great in the first couple of innings.
We're dead.
Yeah, we're dead. And then Lepresti's like, no way, it's early bloop at a blast, we're fine.
I'm with him on that. Yes.
But for me and the teams that I've rooted for, I mean, not to Beningo everybody, but seriously, I've got no faith. None.
No, I understand. I totally get it. And then my other point, before we take a break soon, my other point, though, about the betting, even the Nets in Orlando, how does it make any sense that they won, what they win, 5 games, 4 games, whatever? People thought they were going to go out and lose every game. And then for them to get drilled in the first game and then to have a chance to win yesterday, none of it makes any sense.
Well, I will say that the bubble nature of this thing changes a lot with the NBA. But
they weren't playing anybody, though.
Yeah, no, I know, but the normal NBA season is different. The history of NBA postseason betting, especially in the first round, I mean, these teams and the odds are they're astronomical.
To win series, sure, but to know on a nightly basis who's going to win, I just think it's all difficult. I really do.
But I do think that there's some things that are a lot more easy to predict in a normal year, too. This is another problem, is anything can happen during these games. And just absolutely. You could find out a team's got a COVID breakout 2 hours before.
Well, that's true, too, yes.
So, I mean, anything's possible in this year. But I don't know. Baseball's volatile. It's tough. There's a reason why football is the king of the gambling sports, and they only play once a week.
But it's not because people are winning.
Well,
they're not.
some of the professional guys do. They don't like turn it over at like 75%, but if they're over 50, then they're making some money. But those same guys that are in there, it is true. If you watch the Showtime documentary, whatever that was, what was the name of it?
I don't remember.
Action. I think it was called Action. And there's a couple of guys in there that are big time. I mean, there's a reason why they filmed that with those guys on football Sundays, and it wasn't like a Saturday in July where the guys got the full baseball slate, because these guys are honed in on NFL football, and they feel like they can handicap that better because it's not as volatile. That's just the way they feel. And they feel like they're a step ahead of the game. Are they right? I don't know. It just feels to me like baseball, I know it's just harder to predict on a daily basis.
I tried 2 seasons in a row with 2 of my friends. We each picked one game, and we were doing a 3-game NFL parlay every week. I think we won twice in 2 years.
Yeah, but a parlay, we're talking about all sorts of
stuff.
You
won 17 weeks in a row. I'm talking about 3 guys picking one game.
One team a week, though. That's the
difference. That's all we had to do was pick one game.
But you needed all 3 of them to happen at the same time.
It's
during the week.
3 games, though, if it's so not volatile. It's not. You would think, in theory,
Jerry,
that's not that hard.
How can you not understand that 3 things happening at once is harder than one thing?
I understand 3 things happening at once are harder, but if the idea is you've got 16 games to pick for the week, pick one right. Like you would think more than once or twice in 2 years you could do that.
Were you doing it with the spread too?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
it was just to win.
All right. So, but at that point, so there were times though, in remembering the knockout pool, where there was that obvious pick, and then somebody, I'm sure, in your group was like, well, this is the obvious one. I'm going to take that one. Then the other 2 were scrambling around to try to figure out what the other game is, which then ruins your chances. Just like you had these people in a knockout pool that would get too cute with it and be like, everybody's going to take this team, so I'm going to take that team, and then they're out.
Right,
so
hoping that they lost a mass amount of people and then they could continue on.
Right. And it just wasn't. Last year was not the year that worked, except in Week 17. When everybody took the Patriots over the Dolphins, and I did not. And I took the Packers over the Lions, and I walked out of there with a fistful of cash. All right.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.